Congratulations on the birth of your baby. As you prepare to leave hospital, we would like to give you some more information about what to expect next. When you're ready to leave the hospital, your midwife will provide you with lots of information, including how to register your baby's birth and also a helpful going home after birth booklet. This is your child's red book. It's a health record, including immunisations and health visitor checks. It also includes lots of useful information for you to read, even including links and QR codes. Within the first 72 hours of birth, we offer your baby a full physical examination. This is called the NIPE. This can be done at home or in the hospital. The day of your baby's birth is day 0. The community midwife will visit you at home the day after you leave hospital. During this visit, you can ask any questions or discuss any concerns. The midwife can then plan further visits based on your individualised needs.
So after we were discharged from hospital, it was lovely actually to see our midwife the next day. She came and we'd had our first night at home, hadn't we? So it was nice to see a friendly face and just checked actually him, made sure he was fine. Already had some breastfeeding questions, so that was great, so we got to ask them. Then you really get a plan of how often you're going to see the midwife.
And on day 5 is when they do the heel prick test, where they take a sample of blood from baby's heel, and she'll also explain all the other details about that for you.
They prick the bottom of his foot and get some blood, and they put them on a bit of paper which gets sent off to Great Ormond Street just to check he hasn't got any diseases or illnesses. He was upset for about 30 seconds, but as soon as you cuddle him again and comfort him, he's absolutely fine, so it's not an issue. And he gets weighed.
Also on day 5, babies get weighed. They sometimes lose their birth weight, which is perfectly normal. If you've had a caesarean section, the midwife will take your dressing off. If you've got dissolvable stitches, she won't need to do anything. If you've got any other type of closure, she will deal with that for you. Also on day 5, she will check how you are, how baby is, how the feeding's going, and things like that.
Day 5, a good tip is to keep your house nice and warm, because they do have baby naked for a little while. And he feels the cold quite a bit, so he doesn't like having his clothes off, so he will screen the house down. But if we kept the house warm, it would have definitely helped.
On day 9 or 10, midwife will come back again and sign you off from her care, as long as you're well and baby's well. Baby gets weighed again, and as long as everything's fine, you're signed off. She'll no longer come to visit you, but you are still under the care of maternity services for up to 1 month. We send you home with an envelope with all the telephone numbers on, so you can contact a midwife and speak to a midwife anytime, day or night, in that first month of baby's life if you've got any concerns about either yourself or baby.
When I arrived home for the first time, because I'd had to stay in hospital overnight, it was just really nice to come home, and that kind of feeling of walking in your front door.
There is a slight element that when you walk in the door and you put the bags down, you do kind of look at each other and go, so, you know, what do we do now? However, it all becomes quite natural because you're in your own surroundings.
The first night was trial and error, I think. Neither me or my husband got a lot of sleep that night, and he was a little bit unsettled as well. So we thought, you know, new place, getting used to being in our house.
And I remember talking a lot to my sister and my friends about when things were going to feel normal again, because things just didn't feel normal, did they?
Not for a while.
But that's okay, and that's okay for it not to feel normal. And you shouldn't worry about that or stress about that. That's just how it is.
Your confidence grows as time goes by. I think you realise, you know, we're made to be parents, and then you just kind of get on with it really, and let you know if anything you want, he'll normally pipe up and let you know. So.
During the day, when we're downstairs, he sleeps in a Moses basket, which is in the front room or wherever we are normally. And then at night time, we have a crib next to our bed, which is like a co-sleeping crib that is made specifically for that, and he sleeps there.
On the first night when we got home, we had the baby box ready to go. He slept a little bit in the baby box, the rest was on Tom or I. Ever since then, he is in his baby box for his sleep. We're really pro the baby box. It's been really great.
And the way that we work, we used to shift work ourselves, so we run shifts really, don't we, with him sleeping. Generally, he'll sleep down here of a night to give the other partner a rest. And then we'll take it in turns. We've tried him upstairs a few times.
Occasionally he has fallen asleep when I've been feeding him, but we do prepare for that, don't we? Because it does happen, especially when you're sleep deprived and you're a little tired at night, and if you're breastfeeding, it's really good to make sure that you're prepped just in case you both drop off. So that we just make sure there's no pillows in the way, that he's got his own cover that isn't pulled up too high, and that obviously he's in the bed safely enough, and neither of us smoke or drink, so there's no worries there. But it does happen, but it's just making sure that you're prepared.
First phase is quite thick, sort of tarry, looks a little bit like treacle.
Yeah.
Is exceptionally sticky.
Yeah, really sticky.
You can't get it off the baby's bottom.
No.
It sticks for days. And then the next phase after that, probably at day 2 or 3, is what I aptly named the chicken korma phase.
Yeah. Really, really yellow as well. You shouldn't freak out about that. We were really surprised about how yellow.
Thorough, yeah.
And it will go everywhere as well. It's really kind of runny. It doesn't kind of have a poo consistency, really, does it? So that's fun, that one.
And then the next phase, which we're kind of sitting in and have been for a while now.
Yeah, we're riding this one.
Is the kind of, I like to name it the chunky peanut butter phase. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a little bit lumpy.
Yeah.
But slightly sort of mustard in colour, isn't it?
Yeah, it's got a bit more texture.
Yeah.
It's getting a bit more
solid.
bit more solid, thank goodness.
At the hospital, we were advised by the midwife that babies get cold very quickly, so not to bath them within the first week. So we just waited for his core to fall off, which was about 9 days in the end anyway. So Tom and I did it together. We popped him in it, and he looked at us, very angry look, and he was okay for a few minutes, and then he started to scream. So then we got on with the washing, and that's relatively easy, all things considered, and popped him out and got him dry.
I think when he cries, instantly you're like, he's crying, what's wrong with him? So I think the key thing is to go through a bit of a checklist of all the things. Obviously we'd check his nappy, obviously checking his temperature. In the early days, the hands and the feet are always cold, so it's really important to judge it only by feeling the torso and making sure that that's warm. The next thing on our checklist would be feeding, which I'll be honest, if you're breastfeeding, it's usually the thing that they do want. They do usually want the boob.
It's just finding what they like, and try not to panic either, that it's okay, it's their way of trying to express themselves. That's something we have learned with our second child, that it's okay if they cry. And with Rune, that's part of his kind of self-soothing. He has a little cry, and then he kind of sits there or lays there and has a little look around for a bit, and then he will eventually go to sleep.
If I was to have a top tip for new mums, it would probably be a little bit about, because obviously I did get baby blues day 5 when my milk came in. So I definitely think you then question, are you doing all the right things? You do think like, oh, I'm meant to have this instinct to know why he's crying. It doesn't work like that. It's you know, and you have to find your feet as well. So just try not to beat yourself up too much, because I think when you're tired and exhausted, you can instantly give yourself a bit of a hard time. So I think just try and take it in your stride.
I think it was key for me to understand that I didn't initially feel that overpowering love for my baby either, and I think that, and I now recognise that's something that grows through the times that I've had him, and the more he responds and reacts to me now, there's definitely that growing love there. So I think for any parent, if you don't feel it straight away, it's actually really a natural, quite a natural thing, but I did feel the emotion behind that.
Okay, so top tips for new dads. Be prepared to be a servant for the first few days. Do anything that mum wants. Little things surely will help. But be prepared to be maybe that shoulder for her, especially on those first few days when now and again mum might have a wobble.
My top tips would definitely be to work as a team. That's the biggest thing, just 50-50.
Date night.
Date night
is important.
Yeah.
Time for each other.
Talking.
Talking is a really important one.
Any questions that you have, write them down and address them with the midwife the next day, because they will be able to give you guidance in regards to what you are and aren't doing correctly. Because again, you don't know what you don't know.
Just give yourself time as a family. You'll get a lot of visitors that want to come and see you and see the newborn, but just don't be afraid to say no.
Just take it easy. Do not feel that you have to perform for guests or visitors. Just spend the time with your baby.
Go really easy on yourself, because there's no kind of manual with one of these, is there?
Absolutely not.
Enjoy your first days at home with your baby. Remember, if you have any concerns, you can call us. The number will put you through to a midwife 24 hours a day.